Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's January 7th, 2026. And we have with us again the man of men when it comes to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and what America used to be and where it is now, and how the Constitution and Bill of Rights have been destroyed. Judge Andrew Napolitano. And Judge, you know, we both feel the same. Our hearts are broken about what the United States, not the United States, what the dictator of America is doing in bombing countries, killing people, and barely any outrage about it. And you have an article that's coming out tomorrow. It's called A Lawless Presidency. The United States invasion of Venezuela and kidnapping of Nicolas Maduro, the domestically recognized Venezuelan president, violated the U.S. Constitution and international law. The Constitution makes it clear that only Congress can authorize a foreign invasion. Hey, Judge, screw you and screw the Constitution. Don't you know who I am? I'm Donald Trump. I'm Barack Obama. I'm Bill Clinton. I'm little Georgie Bush.
They have all done what you've just parodied, and they've all done what Trump has done. It just seems to be getting worse and worse. Each one of them who does it suggests and offers that their predecessors' behavior, unchecked and unsanctioned, provided a legal precedent for it. So Trump has about a half dozen of these legal precedents on which to rely. Just because a prior president did it, of course, does not make it lawful. Trump's behavior is the most egregious. He killed 80 people. According to Max Blumenthal, about 45 of them in their sleep, murdered them in order to break down the door of the bedroom of President and Mrs. Maduro. So 80 human beings are dead. Maduro has the most absurd charges against him, things like possessing a machine gun in Caracas. Well, how could that be against American law? It's in Caracas. Sending cocaine from Caracas to Paris. This is actually in the indictment. Well, how can that be against the law? The plane doesn't even fly over American airspace. I mean, much of the information in the indictment looks like it was cobbled together by a first-year law student at the last minute so that they could release this thing on Saturday night or Sunday morning, which is, of course, when they did release it. But beyond that, the president has no respect whatsoever for the Constitution. A lot of people watching us now are not fans of the UN. I'm not a fan of the UN, but the UN Charter is a treaty written by the United States, ratified by the United States Senate, and it says, among other things, you can't attack another member state without setting forth reasons and getting the consent of the UN. As condemning as you and I have been of little Georgie Bush, he did go to the UN. He lied to them about weapons of mass destruction, but he recognized that he needed their authority to do it. Trump recognizes no authority except his own. Trump recognizes no restraint whatsoever on his behavior. While they were still burying the dead in Caracas, he's talking about invading Greenland. This is a presidency out of control. This is an authoritarian machine, dangerous to personal freedom in America.
Oh, you know, you've said so much, and it's so true, and it's so sad. You know, by the way, I must, you know, we're friends and everything else, but I have to say that you cannot use the word the United States invasion of Venezuela and kidnapping of Nicolas Maduro. You cannot say kidnapping because, you ready? The BBC instructions were disclosed by Owen Jones, a columnist of The Guardian and the National, a Scottish newspaper, who said he learned from the BBC employees that on Monday, quote, BBC journalists have been banned from describing the kidnapped Venezuelan leader as having been kidnapped.
Oh, jeez.
Ready? He shows a screenshot, BBC telling reporters, quote, to ensure clarity and consistency in our reporting, please follow these guidelines when describing the recent events in Venezuela. Under the guidelines, captured is to be attributed to the U.S. description of the operation, as in, the U.S. said Maduro was captured during the operation. The word seized is described as acceptable for us in our own reporting where appropriate, but you must avoid using the word kidnapped. So you don't use the word kidnapped, all right? Don't you dare use that word. He was captured. Could you believe this crap?
This
Judge,
is from a country
I'm going to
where
make
you.
it clear why the mainstream media isn't worth shit.
Well,
This is from the Wall Shit Journal. All right? This is the articles. You ready? The U.S. might have decided it no longer wants to be the world's policeman, but the military operation that captured, you ready? Venezuelan autocrat. Oh, you're not calling him the president? Hey, Gatson, how about calling Trump an autocrat? You ready? Yeah. Next line down, another article. Diplomatic efforts gave way to military action. Blah, 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 blah. Maduro's regime to reach a deal to give priority to U.S. oil companies seeking to pump Venezuelan crude, opting for diplomacy with the autocratic leader. So they're teaching you to hate the guy. Yeah, I'm not making this up. One article after another, Judge. One article after another. Here is another one. CIA reports favored Maduro loyalists. In Caracas, maintains near-term stability if the autocrat lost power. It's disgusting.
Well, the BBC is from a country where you can get arrested for saying the Hail Mary outside of an abortion facility, and you can get arrested for carrying a Palestinian flag outside of Parliament. So there is no freedom of speech there, and they shouldn't even make a pretense about it.
How about the people that were sent to jail for putting stuff on social media about Macron, the Catson's wife, being a guy?
Correct. So we're in for very dark times. That suppression of speech, I'm sure, will come here, because the president is terrified of speech that is critical of him.
No, this article you're writing, everybody should go to Judging Freedom and see the judge's articles. What you're writing here, Judge, about President Donald Trump violated his sworn paramount obligations to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution when he ordered the invasion of Venezuela without congressional authorization, and when he attacked a member state of the UN without UN authorization. A draft dodger attacked.
He must be terribly insecure because he feels the need to project strength through the sacrifice of others. I don't know how many American servicemen were injured on this. I wish they had refused to comply with his orders. You and I were together on Saturday night, and our stomachs were in knots because of what had happened. That the American government can do this and can get away with it. Congress, of course, has become a joke. It's supine. It will do nothing to interfere with this. The Democrats hate him because they hate him, and the Republicans like him because they're terrified of him. The world will change if the Democrats take over either house of Congress, but that's not a happy world either.
No.
They're no better than the Republicans. The problem is the autocrat in the White House, who doesn't take seriously at all his oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution.
You remember Genocide Joe?
Same thing.
Yeah, another little clown boy draft dodger who stole what, about $250, $300 billion of our money to keep the Ukraine war going?
Yes.
That clown?
Yes. And Barack Obama boasting about how adept he is at killing people, including Americans in Yemen, uncharged with any crimes, with drones, including a 16-year-old boy born in Alexandria, Virginia.
That's right.
This behavior just keeps going on and on and on. The power of Congress shrinks, the power of the presidency grows, and the power that grows in the presidency is an awful and dark power, which consists of visiting violence on people that they have acclimated Americans to hate. We are supposed to hate Maduro, and therefore he shouldn't have any rights in an American courtroom. And who cares if the jail cell that he's in is rat infested? Who cares that this is the same place where Jeffrey Epstein was murdered by having somebody break his neck? This is the undercurrent of thinking that the government wants us to accept, Gerald.
Yep. They write in this article, by the way, TRT World executive producer weighed in on X talking about kidnapping, distinguishing between the terms written that captured implies legality, seized implies authority, while kidnapped tells the truth, making it, quote, off limits.
Who wrote that?
This is from this is an article that was from in The Guardian. Again, and going back to what you talked about, the people, the morons running the show, how about this Stephen Miller, huh?
Oh, God, is he a dangerous, hateful character? He's the one that whispers all these crazy ideas into Trump's ears.
You ready? We live in a world in which you can talk all you want about international niceties and everything else. But we live in a world, in a real world, that is governed by strength, that is governed by force, that is governed by power.
That's probably what he keeps reminding the president of. And that'll probably result in some sort of a military operation in Greenland, and he'll probably want to change the name to Trumpland. And of course, he'll do all of this without the consent of the Congress. All these names will be gone as soon as he's out of office, but they probably bring him some perverse ego feeding while he's there.
Look at this guy, Stephen Miller. Power? Hey, little boy, go over there and fight. Power. Here, you ready? American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again, Mr. Trump told reporters. American dominance in what the hell business is of ours? We built the whole industry talking about the oil there, and they just took it over like we were nothing, Trump said. And we had a president that decided not to do anything about it. So we did something about it. We're late, but we did something about it. Stealing their oil.
Well, that's the bottom line, is stealing their oil. The Secretary of Energy, name escaping me, announced this morning that he is negotiating with a gun to the head of the new president of Venezuela for the United States to receive, 50 million barrels of their crude. According to Colonel McGregor, the crude is the most difficult and most expensive to refine, and none of it will produce a profit during Trump's term in office.
And again, as I say about the mainstream media, how they get you to hate somebody, this is from the toilet paper record. But after deposing the country's authoritarian president, that's how they refer to it. That's not journalism.
Well, are they talking about Maduro or Trump?
No, he hasn't been deposed yet. Yep. If this is terrible, and it's just it's heartbreaking what's going on, and it's only getting worse. Judge, the article that you've written here, the American invasion of Venezuela is a body blow to the Constitution. It reveals what many of us have feared: a might makes right presidency, a lawless, impulsive, authoritarian machine that recognizes no legal or moral limits to its power, abroad or at home.
That's what I fear. And the evidence is right there for anybody to observe.
And again, everybody, we have to make this 1,000,000% clear. At the beginning, when Trump got into office, he started blaming Maduro for dealing drugs and they narco-terrorist BS. And we said that was a lot of BS. You heard that month after month after month after month after month. And then oil became into the deal. Oil only came in near the end. Now, Judge, we've done this before. We're going to do it again. Go back to 2019, 2020, Trump's State of the Union address, when he was trying to overthrow Maduro back then, and it had zero, not a word to do about drugs or anything else.
That's why my administration reversed the failing policies of the previous administration on Cuba. We are supporting the hopes of Cubans, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans to restore democracy. The United States is leading a 59-nation diplomatic coalition against the socialist dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. Maduro is an illegitimate ruler, a tyrant who brutalizes his people, but Maduro's grip on tyranny will be smashed and broken. Here this evening is a very brave man who carries with him the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of all Venezuelans. Joining us in the gallery is the true and legitimate president of Venezuela, Juan Guaido. Mr. President, please take this message back to your family. Thank you, Mr. President. Great honor. Thank you very much. Please take this message back that all Americans are united with the Venezuelan people in their righteous struggle for freedom. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
All right.
He's a grad student in Miami as we speak. He's no more and was never the legitimate president of Venezuela any more than you or I. As you've been saying since then, which is almost 9 years ago, all about oil.
Yep. Nobody plays that clip. Nobody talks about this. Had nothing to do with drugs. Oh, he's an illegitimate ruler, and we're going to bring democracy there. Had nothing to do with that. It's about stealing their oil.
Correct.
And again, what Trump said, that, we're going to take over the hemisphere. Not my words, his. And by the way, here's an article, too, in the toilet paper. Justice Department drops claim that Venezuela's Cartel de los Soles is an actual group.
And that it doesn't exist. It's just an idea, like Antifa.
Yeah.
That article reflects a change from the original indictment against him to the new indictment, in which they decided not to accuse him of being the head of an organization that never existed. They've accused him of things that don't make sense, like I told you about the machine gun and the flight to Paris, but they decided not to accuse him of being the head of an organization that never existed.
Judge, this is terrible what's going on. I'm very concerned. And will they come after us for speaking out against this?
Well, I'm sure they're not happy with what we say, but the public wants to hear this because they don't get it on mainstream media.
Yeah. By the way, a third of the Americans support this, according to the latest poll. A third of Americans support America's attack on Venezuela and the kidnapping of their president and his wife.
Well.
Oh, Jane, do you have that clip about the headline in CNN yesterday? This is the headline, Judge. Maduro and his wife hit their heads as they tried to flee U.S. forces. What useless crap is that?
They broke a couple of her ribs as they grabbed her.
Hit their heads.
In her
How
back.
about coming out against this tyranny?
Yeah.
So listen, everybody goes judging. Judge, who do you got coming up on judging?
I have two wonderful, wonderful human beings today. I have Colonel Douglas McGregor and Phil Giraldi.
Wow.
Two great, fearless, patriotic Americans who are not afraid to call out the government when it needs to be called out, which is now.
This is so sad. And everybody, please go to Judging Freedom. The people that he has on, the things that you're going to hear, you're not going to hear anywhere else. Judge, thanks for being on. See you next week.
Thank you, Gerald. All the best to you, my friend.